my relationship with Buddhism, visiting Byodo-In Temple more than once. So today is Thursday, 24 April 2025, and here I, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she/her/hers of Seattle, reflect on practicing Buddhism in the 2000s and 2010s and going on multiple visits to Byodo-In Temple when I lived in Honolulu, August 2012 to June 2015. So I transitioned to Buddhism about 2007/2008. I had a problem with allowing/forgiving people who trespassed against me. So I was raised in Christianity and it started to take a problem. And now I actually, it was a Presbyterian church at the time, and I think each of the churches I've attended uses the line about forgiving people who trespass against us. And I was like, I'm not okay with that. And I wasn't okay with that back then. And so I did not consent to people trespassing my body. I thought particularly, no, that's just the hard no. I don't know why Christianity allows for rape. I did not. So Buddhism was a step up from my perspective in that sense. It came before Islam in my life story because it was like, well, because that hasn't happened to me, I don't want to bring it on myself, and Christianity allows it and is certainly baiting it, so I'm like, maybe step in the right direction. I hope I'm not too late. And then I did get raped, but I did try and leave. Plus, Christianity had a bit of add insult to injury tone to it. If trespassed against, don't forget to forgive the trespasser. I had a problem with people touching me without my consent. I did not forgive my rapist after he raped me, a sin in Christianity. And ultimately killed the guy. Well, that's the sin. That's the sin. Eventually transitioned from Buddhism to Islam. My article published in peer-reviewed journal High Energy Density Physics in February 2017 is from my time in Islam. So if you want to know what in my life I can attribute to Islam. So if that wins the Nobel Prize in Physics, if I win the well, that was the person who was the president. So if I were to win the Nobel Prize in Physics for that work, that's Islamic me. Okay, I'm winning that prize, not any other religion. But I got there through Buddhism. Okay, and Buddhism definitely is like, for me, I was an angry child. Temper tantrums. I could throw temper tantrums. So Buddhism was like, this is a good one for me. I could work on this. Perhaps Jesus Christ was a rapist, since it allows for that kind of thing, the trespassing against other people, and expects the victim to forgive the bad guy. Christianity equals the home religion for rapists. Possibly. Anyway, Buddhism was not that. Buddhism was the, I'm going to step back and focus on myself and my own self-improvement. To keep the trespassers out. Okay. And so it was very much intentionally done for self-protection. And Buddhism is a religion in which I learned what the term non-denominational meant. It can be thought of, so what's non-denominational? It can be thought of as meaning not aligned with only one particular subdivision of a religion. I did take a world religions class. I had one of my best friends from my time in Hawaii was Buddhist. And so we talked about this a bit. I had and went on multiple visits to Byodo-In Temple, including going with my mom and my dad. So that's, I think, was the biggest Buddhist temple outside of Japan. And it's in Hawaii on the island of Oahu, and it was a bus ride away from where I lived when I lived there in Honolulu. So we went with my mom and my dad, and they had very large koi pond/koi moat, if I'm recalling all this correctly. And so it was kind of fun because growing up, my dad, we would go to like pond places and they'd have koi and we'd look at the koi fish and stuff. So it was like, he took me, us offspring and his wife and stuff, into these pond places and talked about a pond with koi in it, and we got to see this koi fish. So I got to show him koi fish in my spiritual journey. Real, living, huge, biggest koi fish I've ever seen at a Buddhist temple in Hawaii. That meant and means something dear to me. And then Sacred Saturday Time. Why Saturday? So this one actually did factor in. So adaptable Buddhism and meditation practicing. So made long runs my Sunday Buddhism activity as a teenager. So when I transitioned to Buddhism, I kind of transitioned out of going to Sunday school. And instead what I did was I was like, I'm going to make Sunday still kind of sacred religion day, but I also want like to preserve this time for myself with the computer game stuff. So cementing it, I decided to keep Sunday sacred, just transition from going to church service to longer runs. So Buddhism is actually part of how I've sustained my middle distance running abilities. So Buddhism is very important in my running origins, and especially road running origins story. But it was meant to have both weekend days kind of sacred in their own way. So Buddhism factored in there and actually helped balance the sacred Saturday computer game playing. So like a little bit less exercise on Saturday because I'm playing computer games, and then do longer runs on Sunday. So that's my relationship with Buddhism, visiting Byodo-In Temple more than once.